Here are Ryan's top 3 favorite wrestlers. Number 3, Will Ospreay. Number 2, Kenny Omega. Number 1, Master Wada. No way, that can't be right. Damn! Now back to Jack and Ryan on the MonsterCast.
All Elite Wrestling is going to London, and not only are they going to London, but they announced All In 2, which is technically their first All In, and it'll be held at fucking Wembley Stadium. Now, of course, you have a shit ton of people that all have their own opinions on this, and then most of them are wrong. So I want to get your opinion on 1, them bringing back All In, and 2, them gonna be in London, and 3, running fucking Wembley Stadium out of all the venues over there. How big is this potentially going to be for AEW going forward overseas?
It's an ambitious move. I don't really give a shit about the all-in thing. I don't care what they call a pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view. Or an event. I don't even know if this one actually is going to be pay-per-view.
Well, don't you think that's cool? That I like the fact that they're calling it All In, because the first time they took a chance, right? They're taking another chance here with how big this fucking stadium is. I think that's why they attached the All In name to it.
You know, AEW's TV numbers in the UK are bigger than WWE's TV numbers. Did you know that?
I do know that, but I think that has something to do with the stations
the
that they're
channels,
on as well.
Yes, yeah. That's part of it. But as far as like local wrestling over there, a lot of what they get is pretty much just indie shit, and then they do have better television ratings than WWE does over there, and you see how WWE does when they go over there. I don't know what configuration they're using or how many seats are going to be there by the time they finish doing whatever configuration they do, because obviously they're going to need the walkout ramp and then the ring area and all that shit. And then I don't know.
I think it'll be based off of like how many tickets are sold in the pre-sale and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll have the set number for that. If they run out of that, then they'll open up seats as they become available or as they think they're needed as far as supply and demand type deal, and then they can just figure out the arrangement around that. If that makes sense.
But it's pretty. You want a little bit longer to figure out how you're going to do your stage and shit if you're going to have, because obviously it's going to be like a custom thing, and then they've got to worry about the logistics of actually getting it there if they're having any of it like set up. So basically whatever vendors you're going to use or whatever contractors you're going to use to set this thing up should already be aware of what the design is going to be like within the next month, because or within the next few weeks, really, because the amount of time that you have to set all this up is pretty short. Do I think they'll do I think they'll sell it out if it's a 90,000 seat configuration? Depends on the price of the tickets.
The top price of the tickets is gonna be a big deal, obviously. But no,
I think if you do the whole upper bowl at like $10 a piece, dude, I think they could.
Yeah, it'll be kind of like a WrestleMania thing where you just want to say that you were there type deal. At that point, yeah.
What I do know for a fact is it apparently costs $400,000.
Correct, to rent it. Correct. Now I got numbers here actually. So it's according to Meltzer, $400K just to rent it. So that's not flying everybody over on the plane tickets and all that stuff and the hotel rooms and all that. But we're talking about just as far as just the show itself, okay? So $400K to rent the building. All right. Now, in comparison, I will say this: their biggest show to date is Arthur Ashe Stadium, as far as number of people in attendance, which was 20,144 people. Okay, that's why, like I did on social media on Twitter poll, I threw out 25K over or under, because even at 25K, it's their biggest show as far as attendance figures go. Right. There was like 13 votes on it. 11 people said over. Okay. Now, you also got to keep in mind that at the Arthur Ashe Stadium, for the 20,144 in attendance, it was 960,000 in ticket sales for those 20,000 people. Okay. It was like 19,000 paid or something like that. Mm-hmm. Just over an additional 200K in merch sales, which you also have to take in consideration, because they're going to be selling merch there, obviously, as well. So, what would you, Ryan, consider a successful show Would it be 25K and over? Would it be 30K and over? Would it be 40K and over? As far as number of people at Wembley Stadium to watch All In 2.
So with the $400,000 rental price for the building, like even if they were to say our goal is to fill like 70,000, you could do if every ticket was $5.72 ish. You could do that many. Obviously, they're gonna have to charge more, but you don't have to charge. The point is that you don't have to charge that much per ticket to make back the rental cost of that stadium after a certain amount. Even at like, if you were to say, let's use your number of 25,000, that's still only like $16 a ticket. So they don't have to make crazy ticket prices to make this money back at all. The other thing is too, obviously it's not taking into account the cost of travel and setup and stage and all that bullshit. Let's say that it's like $1 million total to do that. Like, if you want to use really flat numbers for this, you say the total cost of everything to run it, get people there, get all the fabrication for the setup, production, whatever. At $1 million at your $25,000 number, that's still only $40 a ticket. And the thing about Wembley, as far as I understand,
don't forget my 20 or 200,000 merch thing for Arthur Ashe. They'll probably make more than 200K in merch sales here.
Right. And that's just breaking even on like a 2.5, whatever the fuck it ended up being, 2.25 of what I assume it might cost after everything. I mean, the rental itself is like nothing. It's so easy to make back with $5 per ticket. So the thing that I understand about Wembley Stadium, and again, I'm not British, so this is just something that I've read and heard and whatever, is that a lot of people, if there is a big event going on at Wembley, people will go just because it's Wembley Stadium. Like, it's one of those, it's like the Madison Square Garden or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, they'll literally go just because it's a big arena and something to go do in the big arena.
It's kind of like, on a smaller scale, and I agree with you because I've heard the same thing. On a smaller scale, it's kind of like that old couple that just go and watch a movie every fucking weekend just because there's a movie, they know there's a new movie out, just so they can consume as many movies as possible. They just go just to go. They don't even know what the fuck is in the theater. They just go to the matinee or whatever so they can go watch a fucking movie because that's just what they do together. I've seen plenty of old couples do that. So you go to the matinee and then you get the senior discount price. You're pretty much paying almost nothing to go watch a movie every week, and that's your daily or weekly time to get the fuck out and go do something. And that's pretty much how they view this historical landmark as Wembley Stadium. Anything that goes on, it could be a Wembley fucking flea market, and people are just gonna fucking go just because it's taking place at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, and obviously there's not any historical reference for how well wrestling does at Wembley Stadium, because the WWE SummerSlam that ran at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, in 1992, for anybody that doesn't know, 1992 they ran Wembley Stadium. It was Bret Hart and British Bulldog in the main event for the IC title, where British Bulldog won.
Right, but there is an important difference. So the Wembley Stadium, that was an old version of that venue. So back in 1992, it was different. So it's not really a one-to-one comparison. So we don't really know in the current stadium, the current Wembley Stadium, how well a wrestling show would do, because there hasn't been one there ever. We do have comparisons from boxing and stuff, and boxing was able to get like 80,000. I think they sold out for the Fury. I think I remember reading that they sold out for the Fury fight. So there is stuff that, like, just because it's at Wembley, like, you've got a better chance of selling out on location alone. It doesn't even have to be like something that people are super, crazy about or anything. They have like music stuff there all the time that I don't think people really care that much about, or can't imagine them caring that much about. Like fucking, Muse, I think, has played there at one point and sold out. Like, it's whatever. So yeah, I mean, I think it might sell out just because it's at Wembley Stadium. And I think that might be what Tony Khan is banking on. It's like, people in that area, they're starved for good wrestling. They have the Brit Rest scene, obviously, but like, with all the issues that they've had lately, and some of the big names over there kind of getting ousted for their own various behaviors, it's kind of taking a hit. The indie scene's kind of taking a hit. NXT UK folding has kind of taken a hit. made that scene take a hit rather. So, it could be I think it might be a demographic that's pretty starved for good wrestling, and I think that where it is and what it is, depending on how expensive they make the tickets, they could have a pretty big fucking crowd there.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you had to guess, do you think this is going to be their biggest gate ever?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so here's the only thing I have. The only downside.
Hold on. When you say biggest gate, do you mean in amount of money or in amount of people?
No, I already know it's going to be the biggest attendance rating.
Yeah, it'll be the biggest attendance, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100% it'll be bigger attendance. Because, like I said, their biggest attendance so far is 21K. So,
yeah.
22K, they beat it.
Biggest gate would depend on what they start pricing the upper bowl tickets at. But it's
if
hard
the number
to
is
imagine.
Significantly higher than 22K, like if you're saying like if it's 60K, they're going to beat it regardless of how much those tickets are. That's a lot of
That's what I'm
people.
saying. Yeah. Because it's just such a higher number that you're multiplying by that at a certain point it doesn't really matter if they price the tickets super cheap because there's just so many fucking tickets.
The only thing I can see going, like this being a bad thing going forward is, okay, if you're running Wembley Stadium this time, and there's a lot of people that go because of what you said, it's just a thing to do because it's happening at Wembley Stadium, you can't then in turn that into a yearly thing like you do with everything else if you're AEW, because then people are going to be less inclined to go. So if
unless
this is
it's a really good show.
Yeah, but the chances of you getting that older crowd that's just going just to go, being invested into wrestling just because they won't even know if it's a really good show or not, really. You get what I'm saying?
I don't think there's going to be that many people that go that are like, I don't know what wrestling is.
That's a lot of people, dude. 60 to 80K is a lot of people. Going just because it's being held at Wembley Stadium doesn't mean they're necessarily going to come back the next year.
Sure.
I just don't think it's a thing that you need to do yearly if it does really well. You can go back there and have all in 3, all in 4, wherever. Just don't do it at Wembley, is what I'm saying. I don't think you'll be able to sell that out every fucking year.
Here's the thing too, and I'm not sure how much people know about this area in general, but Wembley is a suburb of London, and London's population is like 8.8 million. So you're talking about 90,000 of, even if they were just coming from London, out of 8.8 million. And you know they're not going to be just coming from London.
Everybody's going to be flying there. There's going to be people from here flying there. Yeah.
Yes. So I think I'd be almost surprised if it wasn't like more than 50. I think it's going to be a huge fucking show.
Yeah.
Because they've already done 25,000 just in pre-sales.
Yeah. Which is already their new attendance record.
Right.
If everybody gets in there and buys the fucking ticket, that's more than the 21K already at fucking Arthur Ashe Stadium.
It's going to be a crazy show. It's going to come up really good on TV.
And what's the one common denominator with these big AEW shows? They haven't even announced a fucking match yet.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are expecting
25K signed up for pre-sale tickets.
I think a lot of people are expecting Ospreay. I think a lot of people are
yeah, see, this is the show I was talking about before. I think this might be an Ospreay versus Omega 2, and then Forbidden Door might be something else. If it's not going to be 3, or this is 2, and then that's 3, because that'll be in Canada where Kenny's from. And then the final 4th match will be in, I think, like, let's say Ospreay wins here, gets the title, Omega gets the title back at Forbidden Door 2, and then Ospreay wins at Wrestle Kingdom, and they both have it twice against each other, 2 and 2.
Yeah. Maybe. That makes sense. We'll see. I think either way, whatever card he puts together, Tony's really good about building cards to match the occasion. So, like, when he knows it's something huge, he's going to build something huge. So, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it. Yeah. I'm not going, but...
Yeah, I'm hyped for it, though. But I agree with you. I don't know if it's going to be a pay-per-view either, because they said that Anthony Bowens came out and said that the next week is literally the next week. So I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know if this is going to be a Dynamite show, a Sunday night special show that we're supposed to go see or something, because it's on a Sunday.
You know, it'd be crazy if they fucking stream it on YouTube.
Fucking nuts. I hope they don't announce that, though. Even if they plan on doing that, don't even announce it, because then I don't want people to be like, oh no, I'm not going to go because I can just watch it on YouTube. Yeah.
We'll
see. I don't know how the fuck they're going to do it, but
they might set it up as like a special show through Bleacher Report and do it for like $20 or something. Like not a pay-per-view, but like
I think that's I think that's something else that people have to take in consideration too. Yeah, all those the gate sales are going to be higher. Yes, the attendance figure is going to be higher. Yes, But think about how much extra money you're going to get from if you were selling it to us in a pay-per-view, even if it was at a discounted rate, because you know that you're going to have the $50 one literally the next week. So it's going to be nuts. And then the other thing that you have to contend with if you're Tony Khan, before we move on to the next topic, is the fact that if this is literally a week apart, like it's being advertised as, is anything of significance going to happen on the show when you have a pay-per-view less than a week after, or a week after?
Well, he's got enough talent to where I think he could build the card where there's not too much overlap, but still
There's going to be a lot of people
UK
that's high up
fan
on that
base.
card that's going to be at All Out that want to be a part of this too, though.
Maybe. I mean, I figured
maybe some six-man tags or some shit like that.
Pac probably isn't going to be at All Out, but I could see them putting him at All In easily. Like Ospreay, obviously, if he wrestles this, is not probably going to be at All Out. It's like there's cards you can build where you're not really fucking with your storylines for the next week. So
we'll see, but I am hyped for it as well to see where they go with this. Yeah. As a person that's not really hyped about attendance figures and stuff, I am actually genuinely interested in how this is going to go.
I don't. When he announced like, oh, we're doing our first Canadian show, or whatever, like, okay, cool, like you're going into an international market, that's cool, whatever. I don't really give a fuck. But this is a big deal just because of the size of the venue.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch. All links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.